What happens in FC 25 and 15 seasons if you pick one of the best teams without doing transfers, contract extensions, or youth scouting? All the simulation stoppers like messages or other events have been skipped. The ones where that wasn't possible have been manually skipped. To restart simulation, the whole simulating took around 5.5 hours. The first season ended with the third place in the Premier League and the Europa Conference League title, which would make Chelsea the first team to win all three major trophies in European competitions. Here, you can see the top scorers of the first season. Now, you will see the winners of different competitions in this season. I forgot to mention that I used a setting where the coach will not be fired, even if the team misses all the goals. The top scorers of the second season can be found here. The second season was less successful, with place 6 in the Premier League and no title. In the third season, Chelsea still has most of its players due to the long contracts many of them have signed. The first star player to leave was Christopher Nkunku. With a buyout clause of almost £83 million, he joined Crystal Palace. Next player to leave was Raheem Sterling on a free transfer. In the third season, we have a new top scorer. This season was slightly better than the season before, with place 5 in the league, but again no title. Before the fourth season starts, a few players left the club, but no big deal so far. So this is the actual starting 11 and the bench players. Still enough quality in the squad. Next player to leave on a free transfer is Trevoh Chalobah. He is followed by Tosin Adarabioyo. This season, Nicholas Jackson is the top scorer again. This season was the worst so far, and many players left on a free transfer. The team is melting when it comes to players, but there are still enough top players to compete. In the winter transfer window, more players left the club on free transfers. A few days after Levi Colwill, Axel Disasi left the club too. Later in the season, Armando Broja joined rival West Ham on a free transfer. A few weeks later, Mark Guiu left the club too. After that, David Datro Fofana joined the Wolves on a free transfer. At the end of the season, we still see the same players that are the most successful scorers in the club. Finishing on 4th place is an improvement. Unfortunately, West Ham won the Champions League and Chelsea will only play Europa League next season. I'm not sure if this is correct or if England should have been awarded a 5th spot in the Champions League. The 6th season starts with the loss of many players, and we might see if this has an effect on the results. This is the team of season 6. In January, the first to leave on a free transfer was Noni Madwick. Furthermore, Robert Sanchez, Dord Petrovic, and Wesley Fofana left the club on free transfers. Nicholas Jackson was chosen as Premier League Player of the Season. Surprisingly, FC Chelsea was crowned as champion of the Premier League. Nicholas Jackson was also the best scorer in the team in this season. Besides Chelsea's title win, Aston Villa and Leicester City were also big surprises as they were also fighting for the title until the end of the season. Aston Villa won the FA Cup, while Chelsea lost the EFL Cup final versus Liverpool. After a quite successful season, many players left the club on free transfers. Let's see if the effect is this season bigger. The FA Community Shield was lost versus Aston Villa. A bigger surprise was that Nicholas Jackson was the first ever Chelsea player to win the Ballon d'Or. Here, we find the top scorers of this season. Jackson and Palmer are on top again. This season was not bad either, but only the 2nd place in the league and 2 lost cup finals are unlucky. The last 2 seasons were quite successful, and this season no players left. Here, we can see the team of this season, and I realized that the team reached the minimum of 18 players. That means that the game adds players to fill this up. Here, Kang and Kaya were added without me knowing. This season again, Jackson and Palmer are the top scorers in the club. At the end of the season, we have place 4 and a lost EFL Cup final. I already mentioned it, but at the moment, there are no changes in the squad, as the game doesn't allow players to leave even if their contracts are expiring. The only thing that could happen is that a player retires. This is the team of the new season. As mentioned before, there are hardly changes. Jackson and Palmer are currently among the world's best players. The stats show it. Surprisingly, another Premier League title for Chelsea Football Club. New season, but still the same team. Nicholas Jackson wins the Ballon d'Or for a second time. Enzo Maresca wins the Manager of the Year award for the first time. Chelsea is champion again. Cole Palmer's season was incredible, especially in the Champions League. Also, Mudryk had his best season so far. Chelsea is champion again, and also won the FA Community Shield, but lost in the EFL Cup final as usual. A much bigger surprise is that Manchester City has been relegated to the Championship despite having several top players in the squad. This was the squad of Manchester City, and they still got relegated. Another season, and still no big changes in the squad. You can see the players in the team central. Third Ballon d'Or for Nicolas Jackson. Another fabulous season of Cole Palmer when it comes to scorer points. Place 3 in the league behind Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, but hey, at least a win in the EFL Cup and the FA Community Shield. Next season, still no significant changes in the squad. Nicolas Jackson also wins the Player of the Season award. The 50 scorer points were surely the reason for the title and the award. Next Premier League title, but a loss in the Champions League final against PSG. Manchester City got relegated again. No significant changes in the squad, as you can see in the team management menu. Nicolas Jackson wins his 4th Ballon d'Or, and the 3rd in a row. Worst season so far, although the FA Community Shield was won, but also the 2nd Champions League final in a row was lost to PSG, and I forgot the player stats. The star players become older, and with no young players, it seems to become more and more hopeless. The club was for the first time in this career on the glimpse of relegation, but instead Manchester United relegated and joins Manchester City in the Championship, because they were not able to promote. So the last of the 15th season starts. Still no big changes in the squad, and I don't know what to expect after the really bad last season. And then something happened that I did not expect. Palmer and Jackson had a really strong season in their late 30s, and they shot FC Chelsea to the 5th league title in 15 years. Manchester United was able to promote, but Manchester City is seemingly stuck in the Championship, like the owners are not willing to invest more money in the team. Here is the final overview of the 15 seasons. I expected that the club would relegate at some point, but that didn't happen. Instead, FC Chelsea celebrated some titles. For your information, editing this video took around 12 hours, so I hope you enjoyed it.